Boxing fans, over here with Umar, IFLTV. Welcome back again in New York. How you feel?
Thank you. Always like to come to the States. New York is the mecca of boxing, Madison Square Garden, and we're in the big arena for Gennady Golovkin. So really excited to be here. It feels like I'm here every other 2 weeks, either Vegas or New York. But I always like coming here.
Hey, mentioning that right next to us is the mecca of boxing. A lot of fighters over here. So Umar, we have this upcoming event, Triple G versus There.who. What do you think of this fight is gonna be the outcome, or stylistically how do you see both fighters will come against each other?
I'm surprised this fight's getting criticised a little bit. People think Golovkin is just gonna go for him really easy, which is not gonna happen. I can guarantee that. If you look at Derevenchenkou's amateur record, unbelievable amateurs. People tell me that when they've seen him spar in the gym and stuff, he's one of the toughest guys we've seen. He's so strong, you can see that physically. Short guy from middleweight, but really stocky and strong. I see it going the distance. I think we can expect fireworks, but I expect Gennady to be a bit more classier. He's so active with the jab. I think Jonathan Banks is going to bring out a different side to him a little bit more technical. I just see a Gennady unanimous decision. But it should be a good fight, much better than people expected.
Yeah, good fight and tough. I mean, I can tell that it's gonna be tough for Gennady, facing There.who. A lot of people underestimate There.who. He's a quiet guy. We already seen in press conference. He don't talk to him that much, but he speaks, with his skills in the ring. We saw against Danny Jacobs, very split decision and close fight. Only I think it made a difference, the knockout. I think if it wouldn't be for that, I think there would be a different outcome. But hey, we can't control judges, or I mean, it is right now at this time we can just it's just only a little review of what happened in the past. But I think we're gonna see a different Sergey There.who. This is his last time. Not his last time, but this is only one of the chances that comes in a long time for the IBF world title. So
MSG Golovkin is a life-changing opportunity. So they'll be bringing it, and obviously he's got Dre in his corner, fantastic trainer, and I expect a good fight, as I said. But Golovkin, he's the favourite, and rightly so. I expect the points win for Golovkin.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen on media workout, press conference, and the tension, and it's like, oof, they're bringing a lot of animosity when it comes to crowd and the fight fans that will come and support. Especially, I was talking with Tom Loeffler. I said, how you guys feel, that Mexican people came to support on
I saw Mexican flags at the workout. I was a little bit confused. I thought they were Canelo fans and they were going to boo Gennady or something, and then when he got in the ring they were cheering.
Yeah,
obviously he has that Mexican style he goes on about, so they like him.
Yeah, that's something that I mean, Tommy was like, oh, I'm glad to see fight fans of course from Mexico coming to support Gennady Golovkin. We thought that they might not gonna show up, but they did, and that shows a lot to us. He says thanks, to the fans that they coming over here to support not only Gennady but the whole, show, because it's gonna be a great event. But whatever comes, right now, let's say if the outcome he leans more on Gennady Golovkin, what do you think if he will face in the future Canelo, or are you interested to see Canelo Triple G for a fight?
100%, that's the fight. For me, it's got to be made. Will it happen? I don't think so. Canelo's come out recently and said doesn't need Golovkin because he beat him in the rematch. I mean, that was debatable again. First fight, I think it's a general consensus Gennady won that fight. Second fight, I've seen people saying Gennady won, I've seen people saying Canelo won, I've seen people saying it was a draw. But there's still debate to be had. So for me, that trilogy has to happen. That is the fight in the 160 division. Obviously, Gennady's got to win on Saturday. Canelo's got to beat Kovalev at 75 for that fight to be alive. Will it happen? I'm not sure. There's so many other options both fighters can take, but for me personally, I'd like to see that. If not, I'd like to see Billy Joe fight one of either Golovkin or Canelo next.
Hey, that should be interesting to see Billy Joe Sander now. He joined the team, the Zone, and I think Eddie should have made these great fights against these other contenders, not contenders but champions, which is Dimitri Andrade and who else is on the line? I mean,
at the moment you've only got Canelo and Andrade as champions. Obviously we'll have a new one on Saturday night because of the vacant titles. But obviously that Billy Joe Andrade fight was supposed to happen, but it fell through for reasons. I'd still like to see that as well. Possibly might not be the most explosive fight, but for boxing purists they'll enjoy it. And there's obviously history there between Billy Joe and Andrade. They had that presser when they were supposed to have that fight, and it was pretty lively. They don't like each other, so I wouldn't mind seeing that as well. And then maybe the winner can get a Canelo or Golovkin fight.
I would have loved to see that. You mentioning right there. I mean, when it comes to these two different fighters, let's say now is the rivalry, UK versus US, and both of them southpaw, and I think that should be interesting to see.
It'll be an interesting fight. It might, as I said, it might not be the most entertaining fight in terms of action, but it's two technically very good guys, very good guys. Probably two technically the best actually in the division, and as I said, there's bad blood there, bit of history, so that'll be entertaining. I wouldn't mind seeing that, and then as I said, the winner to get a Canelo or Golovkin fight.
Oh, absolutely. Talking about Canelo is going out for Kovalev. Two weight divisions, totally different, and weight classes is different right there, and light heavyweight. What are your thoughts on that Canelo is facing Kovalev?
I think it's genius. I think Canelo's management are the best in the business. Since Floyd's gone, I don't think there's been anyone better than Canelo in terms of picking opponents, and there's nothing wrong with that. Picking Kovalev now, they wouldn't have fought Kovalev 5 years ago. Obviously, he was a killer, and you're going up 2 weight classes, and Canelo used to be at 54 then, so you'd been going up 3 weight classes going against a killer. It wouldn't have happened. But now they've seen the Alvarez first fight, they saw Yard do well against Kovalev for a couple of rounds, then he stopped him, so they're thinking, Canelo's a fantastic body puncher, Kovalev is vulnerable to the body, it's no secret. It's a good time to get him. It's a big name, Kovalev, huge name in Russia, big enough name in America. He's the most known light heavyweight in the world, and if they can get a title at another weight class, then his profile gets even bigger, Canelo, and I think it's a great move.
Oof. I want to see what outcome is gonna be. I think they underestimate Kovalev, even though he's already. I'm not gonna say that he's not even in his prime, because I mean we saw him when he was in his prime. He faced Andrew Ward, Bernard Hopkins, all these great champions. So, but I think he's still dangerous. Kovalev is still.
Oh, absolutely, still dangerous, and not only dangerous. We saw in the Yard fight, he's still technically got it. His jab was amazing in that fight. Boxed nearly a perfect fight. Obviously, round 7 and 8 was hectic for Kovalev, but he caught a second win. Many people thought he wouldn't be able to recover. We were sat in Russia at the arena, and we thought after round 7 and 8, right, Yard's going to finish him. Kovalev's is, he's at the end of his career. He's not going to be able to recover. He caught a second win, and he showed his experience in ring IQ. So definitely not a foregone conclusion, but I make Canelo favourite in that fight, even though he's jumping up to 75.
Oof, a big move, and I don't know. I mean, I want to stay tuned and see what happened, and I think fight fans, they will love to see what outcome is gonna be, because after this, there are many fights that they can make. Even Callum Smith, I don't know if that fight could face it in the future.
That's dangerous, because Callum Smith is someone who is in his prime. He is definitely in his prime. Excellent fundamentally. He's a complete fighter, Callum Smith. Whether he beat Canelo, it'd be tough to make him favourite against Canelo. But if there's anyone in world boxing right now, I'd say there's 3 guys: Golovkin, Billy Joe Saunders, and Callum Smith, who I think have genuinely got a good chance against Canelo Alvarez. I say Golovkin because I thought he won the first fight. Second fight was very close, but I still had Golovkin. But I could see a draw, and I could even see a Canelo win in that fight. But in the first fight, I definitely thought it was Golovkin. Billy Joe, I say, because very tricky fighter. We saw what he did in Canada against Lemieux, and let's not forget Lemieux was favourite in that fight. Many people thought Billy Joe would just get knocked out, and he battered him for 12 rounds.
Outbox.
One of the best performances from abroad, full stop. And who did I say? Callum Smith again. Size, technically very sound. He just might be a bit too big for Canelo, and he's in his prime, as I said. But you'd have to make Canelo possibly favourite in every fight. But those are three guys I'd say have a genuine chance, I believe, of beating Canelo.
Hey, I can tell that those opponents are going to be tough. In order when we see these matches, that the promoters and everyone work together in order to make it happen. First thing first, we gotta stay tuned what's gonna happen on the Rebechenko against Gennady, Canelo against Kovalev.